On this screen, I've pictured carbohydrates, different kinds of carbohydrates. Some better choices than others, like we see bread and vegetables and beans on this and fruits, and then we see some of those delicacies that we probably got into over the holidays and that we periodically like to eat, but they're all sources of carbohydrate. And we want to help you get a handle on how much carbohydrate you eat and the types of carbohydrates you eat. And that's where this booklet that's on the left-hand side of your packet that Diane already mentioned, Choose Your Foods, Plan Your Meals, I actually want you to pull that out, because when you open it like so, and you just open it up before you spread it wide open, when you just open it like so and look at what's there, you'll see the different categories of foods considered high in carbohydrate and serving sizes that show you what 15 grams worth of carbohydrate would be. And that's kind of a handy way of thinking of what a typical portion size might be for carbohydrate. So you'll notice grains, beans, and starchy vegetables with all the choices listed there. Fruits, the non-starchy vegetables, those are the ones to fill half your plate with. And milk are the two columns of food that are carbohydrate sources, whereas the meat and meat substitutes listed on the right with the added fats, those do not contain carbohydrate. They do contain calories, but they don't contain carbohydrate. All right, so carb is a slang term for carbohydrate, and carb choice is really our easy way of thinking about this, kind of a nickname for what would be a typical portion size. You know, similar to really like, why do they make 100 pennies equal to $1? Because it's just easier to trade in dollars. You know, 4 quarters, 20 nickels, 100 pennies, it's all $1. Well, we're thinking carb choice, and it's 15 grams of carb, roughly, that equal a carb choice. So women during the course of the day tend to be smaller in stature and than men, so they generally stick with about 3 to 4 carb choices per meal, which if you do the math is about 45 to 60 grams of carbohydrate. And I got that by taking 15 grams of carbohydrate times 3, which is 45, compared to 15 times 4, which is 60. So sometimes when you're looking at a label, you're not seeing the label in carb choices, you're seeing the label in grams. So it's helpful to think about carbohydrate both ways, as what is a carb choice, but also what's the exact number of grams. One of the mistakes people make in reading labels for diabetes is focusing too much on the sugar line. We pay attention to it because we want to try and find a food that's not so high in sugar, but that's not what's important. The importance is really the total carbohydrate, because that's going to break down to you inside your body to sugar. So my message here is look for the total carbohydrate and realize that it includes the fiber, it includes the sugar. And when you're looking at processed food, it includes the sugar that comes naturally. Like, let's say there's an apple juice drink. There's going to be some natural sugar in that apple that went into the juice. But maybe the manufacturer sweetened it up a little bit. Maybe they added some high fructose corn syrup or another kind of sugar. That added sugar is going to be in the number as well. So it's just much easier to look at the total carbohydrate when you're counting carbohydrate and know that you're getting a little bit of a buy, a little bit of leeway when you're choosing something that is higher in fiber, if that makes sense.